You're listening to the What's Happening podcast with Gary Watts.
Good morning. I'm here with Charlie Becker with Camp Courageous. Charlie, how are you?
I'm doing good, Gary. Always good to see you.
It's good to see you from the North Country, right? Come down from Monticello.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, we got Charlie's going to talk about some really, really exciting news about Camp Courageous, what's coming up, hopefully starting this fall or next spring, and called the Pictured Rocks Cabin. So, and if you haven't been there, it's a beautiful site. But anyway, before we get into the camper cabin, tell us about Camp Courageous for some people that don't know what a gem you have up in Monticello, Iowa, which if you don't know, you're going to hear about it.
That's right.
Tell us about Camp Courageous. You've been there, what, 50 years?
Almost. It's getting awfully close, 46. So
See, I've already got you 4 more years. Go ahead and tell us what all the fantastic things you do for kids and families.
Thank you, Gary, and thanks for this opportunity. Camp Courageous is a year-round recreational, respite, and travel program for people with disabilities, and it's run entirely on donations. So the project that we're going to be talking about today and everything that we talk about related to Camp Courageous, there's no government funding. It's all done by the good people that you and I know that
Right.
choose to get behind it and support it. So that's one of the real beauties of the camp. And it's had some incredibly good success with growth. It's grown from the donation of 40 acres back in 1972 to 400 acres. It's grown from 5 buildings to 35 buildings. It's grown from a staff of 12 to a staff of 100.
Let's go to the 40 acres. So when you
Okay.
got the 40, did you envision what's there today?
You know what? To be really super honest and upfront with you, Gary, number one is I'm a school teacher. I never in my wildest dreams, if somebody would have said, hey, you're going to be running a camp for people with disabilities.
Right.
No way.
Right.
No way. And so when I came into it, it was a want ad in the Des Moines Register.
That's
And I
hilarious.
wanted to teach in Northeast Iowa. I was down in Southeast Iowa at the time. I wanted to get back up into my roots area and teach, up in this area. And there's no teaching jobs open. And I had done some volunteer work at a camp for people with disabilities. And I thought, we'll do it for a couple of years, kind of like the Peace Corps. And 2 years has turned into 46. And, who knows? But I really feel, in a way, I'm kind of I'm on a road. And once again, I'm kind of at the retirement, and so I'm brutally honest, not a lot up here, but this road that I'm on is it just falls, everything falls into place. Everything falls into place like it's meant to
You were
be.
destined.
Yes.
Right. So when the 40 acres come up, was it meant for Camp Courageous or meant for a disability camp for kids or what?
Great question. So the original 40 acres was landlocked. It was up the river from where we're at right now.
Okay.
And so, the farmers and nobody would allow access to it.
Oh,
So that 40 acres was traded with the state of Iowa for the current 40 acres. And they had some stipulations. We couldn't cut down a pine tree without the state forester's permission and everything like that. And eventually we got it so that we got full title to the land. So that original 40 acres was worth about $2,000. The current 40 acres was worth about $7,000. So we had to find a piece of land, 40 acres, adjacent to state property, worth $5,000. And so we were fortunate we were able to do that in a short time. So we have full rights to that 40 acres. Then a few years ago, Picture Rocks United Methodist Church sold their camp to us. And then we annexed on some land just around the camp then too.
wow. So it started out in 1972. So, okay. So keep going. Let's go from
Okay.
72 and then tell me more about disability. What, when you mean disabled children, what type of children or who qualifies or how do you do that?
Any type of disability, you have to be medically stable because
Okay.
we're not a hospital. We got doctors that oversee everything. We got nurses out there on duty constantly, but we're not a hospital. So you have to be medically stable, and you can't be a danger to yourself or to somebody else. Those are the only 2 qualifications.
Okay.
So disabilities, we tend to homogeneously group the disabilities so that there's a week for muscular dystrophy, there's a few weeks for Down syndrome, there's weeks for visually impaired, there's a week for stroke, there's a week for you name it throughout the year. We have different weeks. And so you can come anytime, but we have the specific week geared for you.
What about ages?
Age has been from less than a year to 105.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
got to throw in a story here.
sure, great.
I just thought of it. So I have to apologize for interrupting, but
No, this is
I got
wonderful.
a Camp Courageous story. So I did my first triathlon at Camp Courageous way back. I can't even remember the year. It doesn't matter. It's a long time ago. And I remember the one thing I remember of the whole thing. We were in a little lake. It was south of Monticello in some little county lake.
Yeah, Central Park.
There you go.
Yep.
It was a cool little lake,
Oh,
really
yeah.
neat and nice sandy beach. Anyway, when I got down to swim, there was a handicapped kid, one of the kids at Camp Courageous that was swimming. He wanted to go in. So he runs in. A couple ladies are next to him, but he was going to do the swim leg. I'll never forget it. And I thought, how cool is that? And he was going along pretty well, and the ladies were there to make sure he got in. And I swam out and around, whatever, and got in and didn't think anything of it. But I thought, that kid's out there swimming. How cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got done with the race, and we ended up there too. We ended up in actually Camp Courageous.
Okay. Yep.
So we actually ended up coming in those trees, and anyway, and this kid was there, and he was so happy because one of the guys that finished had given me his medal.
Wow. Yeah.
And he was jumping up and down. He was so excited that, like he completed the race. He did the swim part. But I'm like going, that was so meaningful. Forget about the try, forget about work, whatever you do in yourself, to yourself. But just that young man was just the most tickled, happy kid I've ever seen.
That is cool.
But because somebody had taken the time to go over and put a medal on around his head, on his shoulders.
That is precious.
I don't know. It's hard to even talk about it. I'll never forget that. And that was I did several tries since, but that was one of the most impactful tries was at Camp Courageous.
Yeah.
And to see that young man, how happy he was to get a medal.
And that's what was always important about bringing it to the camp, is that people can actually experience what Camp Courageous is all about. But
tell us about the things you can do there, because you got the zip line, which is the little train. Anyway, I'll be quiet. What kids do? It sounds like I want to go up today. I might.
One of our most popular is one that you mentioned, is the zip line, and,
Right.
and the project that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit is the very top of the zip line is up where this structure is going to be. But we used to have a zip line where staff would push the folks down the hill on a rope and things like that. And there's a little back injury as a result of that. I wanted to devise something where it's all mechanical. You take the human error out of it. You take the human physical aspect out of it. And so we got this beautiful zip line. It's up over 100 feet in the air up above. It goes back 800 feet. So it zips you up to the top and then it zips you back down. Incredible opportunity. Only one in the state of Iowa. And talk about being the only one in the state of Iowa, we're the only camp that has a bowling alley in the basement of Durgan in our rec area in the state of Iowa. We always we want it so that every year that a camper comes to Camp Courageous, that there's something new. What's new at Camp Courageous? Every year there's something different. We just finished a stage project right now, a performing arts type stage. We just built a greenhouse. There's a gymnasium. There's camper cabins. There's a beautiful lodge. Durgan is a beautiful facility that they can do activities and things like that. We have what we call, excuse my people from Minnesota won't like this, but we call it Lake Todd. It's a kind of a pond, but we call it Lake Todd. It's in memory of one of our campers, and the campers can fish, paddle boat, you name it, all kinds of winter activities, an indoor swimming pool, 6 lanes by 25 meters, and a therapeutic pool. So just tons of activities all year round. And the camp has grown from the summer of 1974, 211 campers, including Charlie Cummins, who was Tate and Dottie Cummins' son, the sports broadcaster, Tate. And he's not missed a year in all these years. And now we're nearing 10,000 campers.
Wow.
And
10,000 a year?
10,000 a year.
That's just unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It's just really, as I mentioned, our goal is to make coming to Camp Courageous the highlight of a camper's year. And so that's our goal. And so you saw the highlight of the camper doing the swimming part of the triathlon. And so you can just see what a beautiful difference it is. And we're just going to shower them with activities, with things that they can make, arts and crafts, awards. Every camper goes home with an award from Camp Courageous. And so we just want to make that week extra special.
Well, the other thing is most of the kids, they leave off, right?
Yes.
So it's also a vacation for the parents.
Absolutely.
Which sounds kind of strange, but if you think about their handicap, they're probably with their folks most of the time.
Absolutely.
All the time, and it gives everybody a little refreshing,
a
restart.
Yep, a little respite from.
Yeah.
And then we have respite weekends where parents can, say, for example, you got a big wedding Saturday. You leave your child off with disabilities on Friday night, come back on Sunday and pick them up. So that's about every other weekend. If you have an emergency, we had a little camper by the name of Sarah Williams from Tipton, and a tree had fallen on her dad. He was rushed to Iowa City to the University of Iowa hospitals, critical condition. And Sarah was in a wheelchair. She was 2 or 3 years old, tube feedings, all kinds of special needs. Mom didn't know what to do. She phoned up Camp Courageous. We went and picked up Sarah, and Sarah stayed with us until her dad got out of the hospital. 24/7. You have an emergency, your back is up against the wall, we're going to be there for you.
That's just amazing.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that way.
Yeah. And you just had something at cruising for Camp Courageous, those hot cars. I have not been there. I should be.
Yeah.
Because I'd like I don't know what it'd be, a 72 or 73 Dodge Charger maybe.
There you go.
They probably had some there, right?
Yeah, cruising's going to celebrate, I think it's 40th anniversary here next year. So that'll be a really big year. This year the weather was a little touchy, but still a nice turnout and everything. It was a good day.
Right.
Good day.
So you got to, if you haven't been there, there's beautiful fir trees. If you go down to is that the Maquoketa River?
It's the Maquoketa River, right on the border of it.
And it's beautiful. Of course, I don't know what running up the hill. I tried to do that about killed me. Come down for the river, run up the hill. But
you won't forget it.
No, you won't. But it's a beautiful area, and you swear you're in Colorado. Yeah. When I'm around the campsites, like, oh, this is really cool up here.
I couldn't think of a better place for a camp any place in the state of Iowa.
Right.
We're fortunate. Once again, things just work out the way they're supposed to.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. Yep. So we know it's an amazing place. You do amazing things. Let's talk about something else that's amazing that's coming up here soon. What are you working on? Can you tell us about this?
Sure. So we're going to break the news here.
All right,
so,
here we go. Drum roll.
Yeah. So it's always been my dream so right now, when I went to camp, I went to a Y camp, and you're all in a room. You got your counselor in there. Counselor stays with you all week, and you tell scary stories all night, and it's a fun time. So that's kind of what we have. We have 3 camper cabins. Each one has 4 giant rooms where you have 8 to 10 campers in each room, and that's all good, and that's fun as a little kid. But then we get a little older. So when we had stroke camp, that was probably the first group that said, "Hey, we want some privacy." And then, I'll bring out some other things here too, but it struck me years ago, decades ago, that we need to provide the campers privacy. This whole group ward type deal was good back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And I think every camp in Iowa still does it, but we want to be different. We want to kind of be out there always ahead of the game. And so what we're proposing is to build a future camper cabin. And the camper, each room will have be set up for the camper. And so, here's a perfect example. I got a grandson, Cooper, who's got muscular dystrophy. And so he spent last summer down here at Stead Children's Hospital working on some back surgery and stuff like that. And so if you're in a room and you got 100 other kids out of camp with muscular dystrophy, so that's beautiful. I mean, Cooper has made lifelong friends with people that share the same situation. And it's good. We live a life where everything's mainstream. Cooper goes to school with everybody else, and he's fine. Everything's good. But it's also good to have an opportunity to sit there, and Dr. Matthews from the University of Iowa comes up and spends time with the campers and everything. It's a wonderful experience. But to be 14 years old and to be moved by a Hoyer lift from your wheelchair or from your bed to go to the bathroom, to take a shower, and you got all these other people around you. That's not, I'm sure, and Cooper never says anything about it, but that's not the way things should be. And so the beauty of this new space is in a room, there will be the bed for the camper, and then there's a space in the middle for, a table and things, but, and then Cooper can, if you have an itch here, he can't itch. He needs care. And so between my wife and my daughter, pretty much take care of him. And so what's nice about these is they got 2 Murphy beds. And I love Murphy beds as far as you can have a big room, but yet still. So the Murphy bed comes down. Cooper can be in that bed. And then the middle space, we could put the Hoyer lift. Then over here on this other bed could either be my wife or my daughter. who would take
Hmm.
care of him throughout the night when he needs to be moved and things like that, because he pretty much needs that constant care. And so that is the beauty of the new facility. So we're looking at 23 rooms with 2 beds in each room. So capacity growth of 46 campers, 46 individuals, big, huge 2-story center area where they can meet. So, like, for example, when Dr. Matthews comes from the University of Iowa and she specializes in muscular dystrophy, she can get all the campers into the central area and they can visit. And they can visit about concerns they have and things that nobody else can understand. And so there's that area. There's the kitchenette area. It's also going to be headquarters for our travel program. So we take campers. Tate Cummins, back when he was in Gary Doffin's position at WMT and things like that, Tate would take their disabled son, Charlie, with disabilities, everywhere he went. If Iowa went to a Rose Bowl game, there's Charlie Cummins going right with Tate and Dottie. And so he was very, very public, very much about getting it out of the closet. And so then Tate died in 84 and Dottie died maybe 25 years ago. And so those opportunities weren't there anymore. So we think it's extremely important to give the camper with a disability those same opportunities that we have, travel, go places. So whether it's down to a ball game or it's to the state fair or it's going overseas, the campers, we do about 52 trips a year and we take campers to a wide variety. And they have what happens now is they all meet and leave and come back at the base camp, which causes a tremendous amount of congestion in the base camp. So now with this facility, we'll keep the travel bus and the travel program will have their office up there and things like that too. So it opens up a lot of possibilities. And you look out the back, so you're up at the top of a hill of one of the most beautiful areas in Iowa, looking out over the woods and everything. And out the back is all hundreds, thousands of acres of state primitive land. It's beautiful. So it's a
best
gorgeous
site.
place.
It's the best site up there. I
It
think
really is.
it's going to be neat. So Austin's been going through some pictures. Let's talk about them.
Okay.
Charlie, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you want to start here at the beginning. So that's the camper cabin, right? That's the front door.
Yeah, that's the entrance. And you'll see the solar panels up on top. And Camp Courageous is all about raising money, but we're also about saving money. On our base camp, we save $10,000 a month off solar. $120,000 a year.
Really?
Is saved. And once again, all these solar panels are provided by donors because there is no government funding. So you can get a government grant for that. We don't do government money. It's all independent, wonderful people. So you got solar up on top there. You got a beautiful entrance. The garage is over on the far side. It's for our travel program. And
speaking of solar panels, have you raised the money for that, or is somebody?
We have not. We have not.
So
Very good.
That's a good opportunity.
That would be a wonderful opportunity.
So if you're listening to this and you get excited about solar, talk to Charlie, right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, good.
And there's the back of it, and you see a nice fire ring there, and campers out there kind of enjoying the opportunity. There's nothing like a nice fire ring at a camp. And then right on the side that you can't see of this is the thousands of acres of state forest land and things like that. So there's rooms on each floor. So on the lower level, there's rooms, and then the middle, and then there's upper.
And it's a walkout lot, right? So you just go right into the
a beautiful area. And you're just a few feet away from the brand new Pitlick Observatory area that looks over thousands of acres of land. We've built that up so that we have people that there's a butterfly garden that we work with Clark McLeod on and things like that. There's all kinds of things where the animals are drawn to that area. And then that path that they do the triathlon on, that's right there too. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
it's
roly-poly.
Yeah, it'll get the heart beating.
Oh, look at this.
And so the beautiful, living area, the dining area, this is where like Dr. Matthews would come and do, a program for the campers. And we can have entertainment here. We can be feeding the campers here. But just a beautiful meeting area where you kind of come out of your rooms and you go here.
And you got rooms on second floor and first floor, and lower.
And lower. And the beauty of this is you so graciously, maybe I apologize if I'm kind of not going into this thing, but let me back up just a little bit. It's like, how did Gary Watts get involved in this? So Gary Watts, it was actually during the triathlon, but Gary Watts has incredible organization here. and it's really, really big into community service, really big into giving back. They do it as a company, they do it as individuals. So for years and years, maybe decades, Gary has had the team come up and do projects up there. They rake leaves, anything we need done, they'll do. So here's the whole Watts group coming to Camp Courageous to do volunteer days. And so I'm sitting on the porch of Durgan, standing on the porch of Durgan with Gary. And I said, Gary, we love you guys. You got the most wonderful staff anywhere. They're all dedicated. There's a culture here. There's a culture here
Yeah.
that is all about giving back and doing good. And I said, we love that, but is there any chance, I've been dreaming this project for decades, any chance that we can use some of your staff and pick their brain? They could help us. We're not in the building business, and you are. And can we pick the brain? Adam Hahn, absolutely incredible person. If you could clone him a billion times, I'd love to have him.
Yeah.
But for the last 2 years, we've been. This came off a little bit of Adam brought us down to a project down in Williamsburg, and we saw it, and all these ideas have come from Adam planting seeds with us and using here's an idea for this, and here's an idea for this. I can't thank you enough for 2 years.
It.
Adam
is special.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's
the best.
He is.
We got a great team. The whole Watts group. I mean, everybody.
And the beauty of it, we got to know them through volunteering up there.
Yeah.
And
they love coming up in the fall. That's when Toby was there, and he's like, do this, do that, cut trees, do this. But it was fun. Yeah. They all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah. Great group. But I didn't want to slip. As soon as I saw this pictures, in my life, I've borrowed a lot of ideas from other people. And so this was a borrowed idea from Adam taking us down to the Williamsburg project. But, beautiful open area and right out the back. Now, here's what I really like is, okay, so you got the individual room. So you got 2 Murphy beds. And as I mentioned about Cooper, you got right there in the middle where the rug is, he could be having his Hoyer lift. Right. My wife or my daughter could be in the other bed, or a counselor could be there, or another camper maybe. And so total access to the bathrooms and everything. And just a beautiful setup. Every room has a window outside. And as we talked, the outside is absolutely gorgeous. You're out there in the wilderness. It looks very, very campy. But it's very campy. But at the same time, everything is totally accessible.
Then obviously the bathrooms are level, handicap accessible, right?
Right. The showers everything. Yes, just beautiful.
What else do you have, Austin? You got, they're the site. Let's talk about the site again. You briefly mentioned it, but there's no better site on the whole campus, I don't think.
There really isn't. So off to the far right, that dark area, that's the Maquoketa River.
Yep.
And then where the X is sitting up on top of a bluff. I would guess you're over 100 feet above the river, maybe more than that. And so there's areas along that trail and things like that you can see you can see the Maquoketa River, you can see all over the area. But from up in that area, you can actually see all base camp. So it's just, as we've mentioned, probably the most precious spot on the camp. And so just a perfect situation. And that's what we're going to develop and make it something big and wonderful.
Great. What else do you have? So let's talk about fundraising. So where are you in fundraising, and what are your goals there, and what are you trying to raise? Because I think a lot of people want to give money. They just don't know where to give it. And a lot of people are hit all the time for money. What about this? What about that? But I think a lot of people, if they know your story, would give to Camp Courageous. And you already have a huge following, right? Huge following of donors.
We have a lot of wonderful people that volunteer time, that give money, give materials and things like that. So this is a $5 million project. So this is the largest project Camp Courageous has ever taken on. But the need is there, and the need's been there for forever. And prices and everything don't go down. So you got to jump in sometimes. So we were very, very fortunate to have Eloise Dennis and her late husband, Dr. Robert, give the initial gift for the naming rights. And so that took us off and running.
Okay.
And so we're off and running now. And in a lot of our supporters will be getting a flyer right at the end of the first week in June telling different ways that you can support the project.
Okay.
It's going to, the beauty of Courageous is it's a lot of people giving a little. That's very much appreciated. And on this project, there's going to be some opportunities to give more. I know for me personally, I'm going to, buy a camper room, and I'm at that age where I can go into my 401k and get the money there instead of having it go someplace else. And so it's a great opportunity to get involved. Something I've learned over all my years is, and once again, I'm at that point in my life, I don't blow smoke anymore, but I have really found that the more I give, the more it comes back to me many times over. And it's just been so true. And I think it's, you can see it in your life. In other words, the more you've given to help other people, the more it comes back many, many times over. So
yeah, we've both been blessed.
We
what
really
we've
have.
done and why not give back? It's a why not?
Yep.
Yeah, it makes you feel great. You're helping people. I mean, what else is there?
And
Think about it.
it's so needed. It's just the privacy and the dignity of the campers, that they deserve that.
Right.
And
yeah.
I don't want campers not want to come to camp because there is no
Right.
privacy. And so I don't want anything to stand in the way. And Courageous has always been on the forefront of everything,
Right.
whether it's zip lines or anything. And this is going to bring camps around.
So day one, you fill it, right?
Say that. Yes.
Day one.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids will be there.
Oh
20.
yeah. Yeah.
I
We
mean,
got
you fill every room.
Yeah, we got
Right.
a huge demand.
Do you also have something cooking for veterans that can come up to like a weekend camp? Or tell me about veterans, because that's near and dear to my heart. We can't do enough for veterans.
Mine too. So I used to work at the VA hospital down here in Iowa
Oh,
City, and
okay.
love the work. So this is back during, we're the same age, I think.
Yep.
So this is, I'm dealing with people, World War I veterans
Hmm.
and II. And so my job, this is when I was in school down here, was to transport patients to and from the hospital. And so I would go up to Timbuktu and pick them up, have this wonderful visit. Either we were in an ambulance or we were in a car, but get him to the hospital once their appointment's done, then take him back home. You can read history in a history book, but wow, to sit there and listen to these folks and their personal stories. And so, like you, I've always have a special place in my heart. As a matter of fact, here this summer, I'm going with my grandkids back. My dad was involved in the Normandy invasion on the first day, 8 hours into it. And so it's always been on one of the last things on my bucket list that this summer we're going to.
You're going to Normandy?
Going to Normandy.
I was there 2 years ago.
Really?
Everybody should go there.
Yeah.
It is, they'll see those beaches. Went to Point de Hoc where the Rangers went up 120 feet under fire. To just look out over it. And it's the thing about the beaches with, there's Omaha, Utah, Sword, Juneau, and Gold, I think. It's like 70, 80 miles.
Wow.
So when you look at it, you think, it's just a few feet or a couple blocks. Oh, no, it's miles. And everything is pristine. It's like I don't know, there's something magical about it. It's like a cemetery. Everything's just in great shape. The beaches are perfect. It is, they've kept it sacred. It's a
Wonderful.
sacred place. And then you got to go to the cemetery
Definitely.
up above, Saving Private Ryan, they show that he starts in the cemetery, but just to be there and then go to the cemetery. When we went to Paris, it was the most emotional and cool thing that I can't tell you enough that I'd recommend for everybody to go to Normandy Beach in France. And we had a tour guide that helped us through it. And you talk about appreciative Americans and what we did there and the sacrifices, the locals. I mean, and people of the French people just love us for what we did there.
Nice.
If we hadn't have done that, they wouldn't have liberated Europe.
Yeah.
And
Can
that's
you
what they
imagine?
say.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a movie coming out about Eisenhower's coming out
Yes.
about when he sent them in, and he knew that 80% of the paratroopers would be killed and all the things, but he had a decision on whether. And that was like almost the morning of. They were still debating on whether they could send them because of weather. They thought they'd lose shit. Anyway.
Can you imagine your stomach churning
I-
on
it-
something like that?
Just
Wow.
what they all went through in the diversionary tactics. And
Yeah.
the Panzer divisions weren't there because Rommel was sick. He had a cold and had to go home or whatever. There's so many things that fell into that operation. But to see it, you're in for a real treat. I'll
Yeah.
stay off that. But
No, I'm looking forward
I
to it.
can't say enough of it.
It's been
seeing
on
it.
the list for a long time, and yeah, I owe it to my dad, and I want to
Yeah.
experience it. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So
yeah.
anyway,
So
where
the
were we?
veterans, so we work real closely with the VA hospital here
Mm,
in
yep.
Iowa City, and so our plan is to have times in which veterans come up,
Yeah.
and they could have disabilities, a wide variety of disabilities, a wide variety, but we want to work hand in hand with the VA. And the beauty of this is you're getting them out of that sanitized hospital type environment into an environment, into private rooms,
Mm,
into a meeting area.
mm,
Hey, let's all
perfect.
go outside. Let's all go
Yeah.
outside,
Right.
sit around the fire and sit about and visit about our situations.
Right.
And so an incredible environment to pull people out of whatever struggles they might be having, and a perfect place to do it.
A story similar to what you're doing, and another reason why it touches my heart is a guy came to me, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and he sponsors a veterans camp at the lake, and they do a hunt, and he invites guys that I think most of them are combat veterans. It isn't just being in the service, but
Mhm.
so and I think I wasn't in the service, I wasn't in combat, so I can't even talk about it. Can't imagine, but only people that are in combat can talk about it. So he always encouraged veterans to come up. They came from all over the country. I think there was 20 or 30 of them, and they had a hunt, and they hunt around the lake, and then it's like a 2 or 3 day deal. So he said one of the guys that came in was from Mississippi, and he kind of gathered around the fire the first night or whatever, and they kind of chat. But he said he didn't really open up or whatnot. And then the next day they had a hunt, and then the last night they ended up with a kind of a fireside thing again, and he was opening up a little bit and kind of around the other veterans and whatnot. And at the end of the evening, he came up to the guy that organized this, who was also another combat veteran, and he said, "I want to thank you for saving my life." He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I came up here from Mississippi. I think he was married and 3 children, and he had written a suicide note, and he was going to take his life in Iowa, so that it wasn't a messy deal in Mississippi." And he
Wow.
said, "By the interaction of the other veterans and by what you did, you saved my life."
Wow.
How powerful is that? So if you
That
have
is.
similar things that could happen at Camp Courageous with guys like that, and they can talk about what they went through or just share things, because that's what it sounded like to me. And then they went hunting
Absolutely.
just to kind of have fun, and the guys were hunters. So just think about if it
Wow.
affects
Just
one
one.
person,
Yeah.
if it only affects one veteran, it's worth it.
We have been extremely close to the VFW, were some of our first volunteers out of camp, the American Legion also. And we're extremely close with both those organizations. And both those organizations right now have suicide prevention
Mm-hmm.
as their number one priority. And wow, if we could be doing something there at Camp Courageous to do so there's more stories like that one, that would
Yeah.
be wonderful.
Sounds like the administration right now has opened up through Navy SEALs. There's a bunch of guys that are on psilocybin or psychedelics. I don't know what they call all these drugs, but
Yeah.
they're going to now do research on it and try to open it up to all veterans that need it. And I've just heard a lot of really good things that it really helps veterans see what they went through and open up about it. And hopefully they can get that out to everybody through the FDA.
Related
I-
to that a little bit, I don't want to get sidetracked here too much, but Robert Gallery
Oh.
was a wonderful supporter of the
Yeah,
camp,
he had that.
huge supporter of the
Yeah,
camp.
yeah.
And T-shirts, the campers are so proud because they had Robert Gallery's name on the back for years, and the struggle he went through.
Right.
And wow, talk about opening up and telling a story. How many people that have helped?
Yeah.
But
And he was on. He took some things, I think, too, that helped him. And
exactly, yeah,
and
that was my point. Is that
yeah. I don't know
we
what
gotta-
all the names of the drugs are. It doesn't matter. But the way I see it, if it can help these guys deal with it, what they
Yeah.
deal with, because if you ever around, my dad was a World War II veteran, and it's not, your father was too. If you ever around them, there's so much that they have hidden in their minds,
Yeah.
but they still see it every day. They still experience it,
Yeah,
and somehow they gotta be able to deal with it. So
absolutely.
anyway, what another great thing about the cabin.
Yeah.
We can just keep going on and on.
It is. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of great opportunities. Everything about it, like I mentioned, it's a $5 million project.
Right.
And whether or not my daughter has a little lemonade stand, whether or not you got the lemonade stand and you make $12,
Right.
for the cabin,
Right.
it's all appreciated. And you'll be able to go to the camp's website and gather more information.
Good.
But we would love, and once again, we don't have a development department. We
Okay.
don't have people out raising money. Nobody gets paid to raise money for Camp Courageous.
Right.
So it's a lot of volunteers going out. And it's just like, the contribution of your staff's time and your time and everything that's how things are
Right.
done at Camp Courageous. And it's a wonderful tribute to a lot of people that we know and a lot of people from this area.
Tell us about opportunities left. Like you can buy a room for 10 grand, or you can do this for 100 grand. What? Because believe me, people want to give to this. You know that. We
Mhm.
just got to get the word out, which we are. But tell us some opportunities that are coming up here.
The
so
big
far.
thing too is because it's a $5 million project, the opportunities are a little bit bigger than what we've been used to. But you can pay it, you can do pledges,
Okay.
and we're very, very trusting. And I won't
Okay.
tell you how trusting we are, but we are extremely trusting on everything we do at Camp Courageous because that's just the way we are.
So if somebody wanted to give 10 grand, they could give it to you over a few years,
Yes.
or 100 grand, or whatever the numbers are. You could just say, Charlie, give me 5 years or 3 years or something, right?
Exactly. Dr. Deshaw, when we started the Camp Foundation back in 1980, he said, Charlie, I was making 17 grand a year. He goes, Charlie, you got to be the first person to do this. And he was looking for 100 people to give $1,000 a year for 5 years and raise raise $500,000.
Right.
And so he said, Charlie, it's only $20 a week. You can afford $20 a week. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I really can't. But, I pledged, and after that, it's all good. So
Right.
any amount is great. We have, everything in the building has naming rights. The fireplace. There's only 2 areas that have been taken so far, and that's the dining area. And somebody that's been in the dining business forever wants that particular area and the road to it. But everything else is wide open. We have the rooms. So we divided everything else out so that the rooms for each cabin, for each camper is 50,000, but then that can be divided down into 2 people at 25, 5 people at 10,000. It can all be divided out. So it's just that we got to come up with that kind of money to
Right.
make the whole thing work. But
Right.
every piece of it, the windows, the doors, the tables, everything can have naming rights on it. And so it's a great opportunity.
Good. Well, so do you have prices on the rest, or do you want to go through some of them?
Yeah,
or not?
sure.
I mean, why not? Why don't you roll through them just
Yeah.
so somebody gets excited? Hey, I really like a fireplace.
So
or
the
want
the
a
big
room.
commons area, if you know an organization, a company or something, that's 500,000.
Okay.
The elevator is 150,000. That's what it costs. All these are basically what it costs for us to put
Right.
these things in. So there's no extra. The parking lot area is 150,000. So if you know somebody in the
Asphalt, concrete.
business,
Okay.
that would be good. The fireplace is 75,000. The rooms, camper rooms on the main floor are 50. The second floor is 25, and the basement is 25. There's electrical carts that we're going to take campers to and from. Different activities. Those are 20,000 a piece, and we need 6 of those. The lower level rooms are 10,000. The doors are 10,000. The Murphy beds are $5,000 each.
Okay.
And there's tables and chairs, and we got a new one today: solar panels.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
and the solar panels on the other project, we sold those for $1,000 a piece, and that would be wonderful.
So you're mainly, as far as fundraising go, you obviously have the main contributor, and you're getting started here. So you're looking at probably a early spring start or late fall, something like that. As soon as you need to raise the money.
Yeah.
And another neat thing about it, the money goes toward the building. It isn't going into administration, a bunch of salaries. It's going
It's 100%
directly
the building.
into the building. So when people, I know a lot of times I get hit up and, well, you find out that only 80% goes in or 90%.
That's
So tell us about that.
the beauty of Courageous is you
Yeah.
can see it, you can
Right.
feel it,
Right.
you can be a part of it. If you want to be a
Right.
volunteer
Right.
counselor, you can be a volunteer counselor. If you want to
Right.
help in dietary, that's the beauty of it. It's real, and you can stop out there at any hour of the day or night, and we'll give you a tour around the
Right.
facilities. Likewise, on this project, say for example, you want to visit with me about it. So my phone number and everything's on all the material. You phone me up, and I'll come any hour of the day or night. I'll come by and visit with you about the project.
Cool.
We're just, I've always kind of felt, okay, I'm not necessarily the sharpest pencil in the can, but when it comes to dedication and what this is all about, I know it personally. I've seen nearly 50 years of it, and I've seen it in my own family on what a difference Camp Courageous has made to my grandson. So it's big for me, and it's been on my wish list for a long time.
I can't imagine how excited the kids are when they know they're coming to Camp Courageous. If they've been there before and they know they got a week there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably their eyes light up just to see that happen. And then you have all kinds of volunteers. You have nurses, you have other people that help clean up. I mean, tell us about the volunteers.
Volunteerism
Or-
is volunteerism is huge, and it's what the camp was based on. All those first 5 buildings was all volunteer labor, and we use volunteers in every aspect of Camp Courageous. Our biggest fundraiser is the Manchester garage sale, and up there, so you got people bringing things in. The
Yeah.
Norby's gave us their old Norby's building,
Yeah.
remodeled, solar panels on the top. We don't pay anything for utilities, and it's like over 100 volunteers run that garage sale. And the IRS back 40 years ago probably came and they investigated Camp Courageous because they investigate all charities.
Right.
And the guy was from Fairfield, Iowa. He goes, I want to see this garage sale deal. And so he goes up there. He came back and said, in all his career with the IRS, he had never, ever seen something like that where you have this huge fundraiser. It's the biggest one you got. It's run 100% on volunteers. People are getting rid of things they no longer want. You got these people that want things. It's just a win-win situation. We always give them a list of what camp needs. So they're always collecting things for the camp too. So it's just win, 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 win. But this is one of those beautiful charities, which I mentioned, is that you can see it, you can feel it, you can be a part of it, and you tour that camp. And I think you walk away very proud of how good people are. Every once in a while, we have to be reminded that things aren't as bad as somebody might think they are. But wow, talk about reinstilling your faith in mankind. Wow. Yeah. I mean,
well, if you've not been to Camp Courageous, come out. Call you. You said anytime.
Anytime.
And if you haven't seen it, you won't believe it. I mean, it just keeps getting better. It's a beautiful area. And then what's your website? Austin, do you have that up, or can we put that up to donate money? Because I want to make sure people realize, obviously, we're here to promote Camp Courageous and get this camper camping going here for
So
privacy.
It's campcourageous.org, and then there's going to be a donation page. And the donation page for this is not up yet, just because when we announce it, then it's going to be up there. But you'll be able to just go to the website, go to donate, and there'll be a section there on this particular project.
And it'll show pictures of the cabin and what you can donate to and all that.
Everything will be right there. Yep. So,
and when's the announcement, other than next week? Or
next week's the big one. Yeah, that's the big one. And so we're starting to go full blast now because, I'm not really in the fundraising business, but I know once the building's there, nobody will support it because the building's there. And so we got to spend this time and raise the money. We got a long ways to go, and we can only do it out of the kindness of many.
Right. And whether it's a lemonade stand, or you want to do this, or substantial amount, whatever you got is appreciated.
Yeah, either that, or like I said, we don't pay anybody to market Camp Courageous. We don't pay anybody to raise money for the camp.
Right.
And so, if you have any of those talents and you want to lend them to this project or lend them to us, just get a hold of me at any hour, and we'll take you in with open arms.
So you have no specific fundraiser, just online, right?
Yep.
And just see brochures or see pictures.
And so it's real easy. If you want to make a donation, you can just put camper cabin on an envelope, P.O. Box 1. So real easy, Monticello, Iowa.
Right.
So it's Post Office Box 1, not a hard one to remember, but just even if you just put Camp Courageous, Post Office Box 1, Monticello, Iowa, it'll get to us, get to the camper cabin project.
Anything else today about this project you'd like to mention?
I'm just really excited, and I'm excited about partnering with the Watts Group. We
are too.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge just because, we have somebody professional, somebody that does this for a living, helping us do this, because there's no way we could do this on our own.
Well, you got Adam Hahn. He can head it up. He's great.
But, I've mentioned this with other people over my time, people like Leo Greco and stuff like that. We're grateful that you're lending Camp Courageous your integrity and your whole background to Camp Courageous. That means a lot. And that's more, you can't put a dollar sign on that.
Right. Well, we appreciate it. I just want to tell everybody that if you've not been up to Camp Courageous, stop up, just drive up there, walk around. It's fantastic. Call Charlie. Take a tour. And then we need your support. So we want to get this underway sooner than later. Like you said, costs don't keep going down with this oil thing going on right now. I haven't even looked at it. It's getting crazy. So anyway, if you can get online and appreciate Camp Courageous, we would certainly appreciate it. And Charlie, it's been great again. And I can't believe it was 3 years ago
Wow, it seems like
that's what-
yesterday.
that
It
we
seems like
talked about
yesterday.
Camp Courageous. So
Yeah.
anyway, have a good one. Good to
You
see you
too.
again.
Thanks, Gary.
You bet.